amongst all of this. All right, hang on. Back up a little bit. And you can...
You must follow all Dennis.
Okay.
You want to be gobbled by Dennis?
I don't think we're going to have the guests.
So if you want to get on to this and wish people hello, you're live, so go ahead.
Hello, and welcome to this very special storytime visit from local author Brian Gehrlein. He will be reading his debut picture book, The Book of Rules. Brian will be sticking around afterwards for an interview, so if you have any questions for Brian, please leave them in the live chat. I am Alex Donovan, and would like to welcome you to the Withers branch of MCPL in Liberty, Missouri. Looking at upcoming events here at the Withers branch, we have in-person story times that are taking place at the Withers branch on Tuesday and Wednesday mornings at 9:30 and 10:30 a.m. And now, to our guest author. Brian Gehrlein lives and teaches high school English in Liberty, Missouri. His first book, The Book of Rules, published by FSG, is about following the rules, lest you be eaten. He is the creator of PB Spotlight, a picture book literary blog. Brian graduated from William Jewell in 2010 with a BA in theater education and recently completed his Master of Secondary Education with an emphasis in reading from Arkansas State University. When Brian isn't writing or playing with his sons, he can be found tinkering on his time machine. He tells me future you just loves his new books. Friends, please welcome Brian Gehrlein and The Book of Rules.
Hello, welcome. Just came back from the future. You're going to really like my new book. I can guarantee it. This is The Book of Rules. I wrote it. I'm really happy that you're here today. This is my first actual live reading of The Book of Rules. And that's a really special moment for any author. And it's a surreal feeling to be here with you today. I'm sad I can't be with you in person, but I know you're there watching. And I know there's some kids getting ready to follow the rules, lest they be eaten by Dennis. You don't want to be eaten by Dennis, do you? No, I would not want to be consumed by Dennis or really anything, actually, if I'm honest. I'd love to see your participation today as I read the book. So parents, moms and dads, if you can grab your smartphone and take some pictures of the participation while I read. And if you want to toss it on Twitter with the hashtag #TheBookOfRules, I would love to give you a little spotlight shout out later on my Twitter. My Twitter handle is @BrianGehrlein, and I would love to see what you're doing as I'm reading. That would be really, really fun. Is that okay if we do that? Yeah, you guys ready to have some fun? Should I read this book now? Yes? Okay, I can do that. I can read. I'm so excited to read this book. This is The Book of Rules by me, Brian Gehrlein, illustrated by the kidlit wizard Tom Knight, published by FSG, Books for Young Readers, an imprint of Macmillan. The Book of Rules. There's Dennis. He's lurking. Careful, we gotta follow the rules. This book has rules. You must follow all the rules. If you break the rules, Dennis will eat you. Do you want to be gobbled by Dennis? No? Then you'll have to listen carefully. Come here, Dennis. Show them your teeth. Now your claws. Now that weird thing on your foot. Gross. Go wait in the margins. Thank you, Dennis. Rule number 1. You must sit on the floor. Yep, right now. Sit on the floor. Getting there? Getting cozy? Okay. Are you nice and cozy? That's not quite right. Find a new spot. Yes, that's better. Actually, one more time. And the chaos is ensuing. Excellent job listening and following the rules. You clearly don't want to be eaten. Rule number 2, sit up straight. Sit up tall. Sit crisscross applesauce. Applesaucier. Applesauciest! Nice. Now stay that way and you won't be Dennis food. Rule number 3, follow the following rules. Raise your hands in the air. Touch your nose. Clap 3 times. Again, this time all together. Give it your very best. Solid clapping. We are very focused. Rule number 4, the cow rule. You are now required to moo like a cow.
Moo.
Moo like you mean it.
Moo.
Like a noisy barn.
Moo.
Utterly impressive. Dennis never did like beef. Because he likes kids. Rule number 5, do not smile. Do not laugh. Do not even think about smiling or laughing. There is nothing funny about being eaten. Dennis, they're breaking the rules! You really need to see a doctor about that foot. Kids, looks like you're safe for now. Do not break the rules again. Rule number 6, make a fish face at someone. Fishier. Like the fishiest fish. Well done, little fish. We are swimmingly good listeners. Rule number 7. Look at someone next to you. Tell them, I see you. I'm glad you're here. I do not want Dennis to eat you. Give them a high 5. Now a fist bump. Fantastic. Dennis just might go hungry today. Rule number 8. Give yourself a bear hug. A bigger bear hug. The biggest, barest hug in the history of bears. And release. Good. Very good. Perhaps too good to be eaten. Rule number 9. Close your eyes. Don't worry, Dennis won't eat you. Keep your eyes closed. Feel your heartbeat. Feel the floor. Listen to the room. Now breathe together. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3. Open your eyes. Perfect. Rule number 10. Repeat after me. I am ready to listen.
I am ready to listen.
I am ready to learn.
I am ready to learn.
I am not dentist food.
I am not dentist food.
Brilliant work. You made it. You all made it. Great job, everyone. You all listened well and followed the rules. No lunch for dentists. Unless we follow the secret rule. The rule we follow when Dennis has nobody to eat. Come out here, Dennis! Your whole body, not just your foot. Do you want to know the secret rule? You do? Rule number 11. Feed Dennis. The Book of Rules! And the book has been consumed and it's gone. Just kidding, it's right here. You guys did an amazing job. That was so much fun. Thanks for playing with me, using your imagination. Dennis isn't real. We're not really going to get eaten. But it's a lot of fun to play pretend. And teachers, parents, librarians, it's a lot of fun to make following the rules a game. So if you need to reinforce those behavior expectations come January, what a great classroom read aloud way to get our sillies out together and have some fun. Thanks for listening to my story. Thanks for listening to the Book of Rules. Gotta get coffee. Coffee is a must.
All right, thank you, Brian. You are such a fun and engaging storyteller.
Thank you.
And thank you for that great tip for teachers and librarians in January when they come back from holidays.
Oh, yeah. And moms and dads if you want just a different kind of a bedtime story experience. A lot of fun.
So I have some questions for you so that we can get to know you and about the Book of Rules and your writing process. But before I do that, if you have any questions as we are talking, please type those into the live chat and we will get to your questions. All right, so Brian, who or what in your life influenced you and made you want to become a writer?
William Shakespeare. That's it. Just one. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I think when I think about my journey as a writer, I have to go back to my time as a student with my teachers. Every time I got a writing assignment, I tried to make my teachers laugh. And I got really excited about writing. That's where I kind of found my voice. I was a little bit of a class clown. And I found that if I could entertain my teachers, my writing, or my friends, family, I connected to the written word and making others laugh, and that was huge for me. But definitely in school, my teachers gave me space to find my voice and encouraged me, and that gave me confidence to eventually try to publish a book. And so shout out to all the teachers. Keep doing your thing. It's a hard time right now, but your work matters.
Now,
well, there's a question?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, not a question, but Jameson and Sutton want you to know that their favorite part is Dennis's gross foot.
Yes, Dennis's gross foot. Thank you. Is that Jameson?
Jameson and Sutton.
Yes, well, Dennis's gross foot is one of my favorite parts of the book, too. And it is just so random. And I sincerely hope he goes to the doctor to get that taken care of. It's kind of gross. Yeah.
So you're currently a teacher, and you previously worked for Mid-Continent.
Yes.
How did those experiences shape you as a writer?
That's a really good question. Okay, so I feel like as a librarian, my time as a librarian, just being like immersed and saturated in books and seeing picture books was really formative because that was exactly around the time when I was actively pursuing publication, trying to find a literary agent, and being rejected 600 times in that process. That's probably a side story. But just like being immersed in picture books and having all those mentor texts and being inspired by so many different voices as I was trying to find my voice was really formative to my education as a writer. And then as a teacher, This book was inspired by my time at Liberty Oaks Elementary School. Shout out. And it was just like I was a paraprofessional for special education, and I was observing kids throughout the day, the fall of 2017, and just seeing the various transitions and various energies kids bring, and all the story times. And I just kept hearing this voice, this book has rules, you must follow the rules. And I thought that'd be really fun to have a really interactive read aloud where kids got to physically get up and interact with the book. And so just my time as a teacher, working with students and seeing read alouds and working with them, kind of all led to this point as well.
Great. What was the process like when you first began to write?
Arduous.
Has it changed over time?
Lengthy and arduous and painful. A lot of crying. No, just kidding. My process, I feel like I think it's different every time. Each book kind of presents itself in a unique way. But the common denominator, what I always kind of do, I guess, that a lot of my books have in common, is that first draft comes to me fairly quickly. If I get a strong idea, I have to sit down and just go for it, get the draft done. First drafts don't have to be perfect, but they have to be done. That's what I always tell my students, because I teach creative writing too at the high school. And I think the books that survive, that don't end up in like the wasteland of my Google Drive to never be used again, they get developed fairly quickly. And then where the real work comes in, where the process really matters, is revising. It's figuring out, okay, what did I just write? What can I cut out? What is this? What's the theme? What's the tone? Like, how is this going to work physically as a book? And that's where the real work takes place. So I think like my process is always like get that first draft done, quickly get it out of your head, and then slowly over time figure out what that thing is and shape it to be, I guess, what it wants to be. Yeah. Is there another question?
Yes, so Stacy says that their kids would like to hear your favorite Brian Regan joke.
Is this Stacy from, this is probably Stacy Blair from, my high school friend, because she's asking about Brian Regan, and he was big when I was in high school. Hi, Stacy. My favorite Brian Regan. Okay, so I actually did a Brian Regan joke in the classroom the other day. We're reading Animal Farm by George Orwell in my 9th grade class, and there's a part in the book where they blow up the windmill. It gets destroyed for the second time. And there's this Brian Regan bit where he talks about being a kid destroying an anthill. And he's like, you know, there's got to be at least one ant who's standing there like, oh man, I'm not building that again. Stand right there, just gonna do it again. And that was my Brian Regan impression. So there you go. Thanks, Stacy.
Great.
Is there another question?
Yes. Is the Book of Rules the first story you wrote, and is it your favorite?
No and no. I've written dozens of stories, books that are complete. We're actually on submission. My agent and I are on submission right now to get hopefully our second one published. But there's a long queue of books. I don't know if I have a favorite. Maybe it's just I think my favorite is the one I'm working on right now. You know, that current project that's like really capturing my imagination and fascinating me. And it's got a special place in my heart, of course, because it's my first. But it definitely wasn't the first one I wrote. It was probably like, I have no idea. But I never wrote it to get published. That's an important detail. I actually wrote it just for funsies, for fun. After school at Liberty Oaks, I kept hearing that idea, that narration voice. I sat down at the kitchen table in our apartment, and it came out. And then it just sat there, and I never queried it, which is sending it to an agent to be represented and hopefully published. It just kind of sat there. Is there another question?
Yes, Marcy is a kindergarten teacher.
Ooh!
And would like to know how to buy the book. Although she's afraid that a few of her kids might get eaten by dentists.
Well, Marcy, I share that fear. You're probably right. I bet many of them would get eaten by dentists. My sons get eaten by dentists at least once a day. So the book's on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, Target, all the big retailers. My indie bookstore here in Kansas City, if you want to buy local, is the Learning Tree KC. So yeah, please buy it for your teacher friends, for parents and librarians alike. It's out there. You can get it. Yeah, good question.
Very good question. So, I was wondering, how long did it take you to write the Book of Rules?
Well, so that's a good question. The first draft, maybe less than an hour. And that's not me being braggadocious. It just came out. And that's a lot of my first drafts, but it wasn't good, and it wasn't done. A first draft isn't ever supposed to be published. And then it just sat in a Google Drive folder marked no longer pursuing, because I thought it was a dead manuscript, and I didn't want to do anything with it. I let it sit there for 2 years and did nothing with it. My first agent and I were trying to figure out what new projects we might kind of prep and get ready to send on submission, and so I took a dive into that folder to see like if there was any diamonds in the rough, any hidden gems that I'd forgotten about, and found the Book of Rules, and I was like, well, that was a weird story. That was kind of fun, very interactive, very different, very fun. Dennis is always fun. Maybe my critique group will give me some feedback on it. So I shared it with my Twitter-based critique group, and they were like, this is really fun, this is really unique, this is very you, Brian. And so I put it through the process of revision and critique, and through that encouragement from those other people who were so formative and important, I got the nerve to pitch it to my agent, and she was like, oh my gosh, this is so great. And then everything happened really fast. We shared it with FSG, I think July, and then by October, it was like, boom, here's an offer, and then like 2 years later, the book was made. And it takes about 2 years to make the book, so yeah.
It's very interesting.
Hmm.
So, where is the weirdest place that you came up with an idea for a book?
The weirdest place for an idea for a book. Oh man. That is a really, really good question. That's a brain teaser. Ideas come to me nowadays at very inopportune times. And as a busy father of 2 boys under 3, our oldest is going to be 3 in less than a month, which is crazy. And as a teacher, I'm super busy. But ideas come to me at like 1 a.m. And I'm like, no, I'm in bed and I'm trying to sleep, and I really need to sleep because it's important that I get sleep. But then it's pesky, and so I take out the phone. And first drafts on your phone are fantastic, and it's like, okay, let's just get this out. And then what's even more fun is waking up the next morning and deciphering, now what in the world did I just write? So, yeah.
How do you define the success of your book?
If I don't get the Pulitzer Prize, I've failed. So that's how I define success, very narrowly. And if I don't get that, then I quit. No, I'm just kidding. I think I'm a success. Like I have a book that got published, and I think just seeing the response of people in the last few weeks it's been published has been so encouraging, and I feel like beyond a success, because like they're having fun, and I'm seeing kids enjoying the book. And okay, the best litmus test for my success is definitely my son quoting the book, like randomly, unprompted. That's been like very, very cool. It makes my father and author heart full in ways that I never knew they could be full. So yeah, having kids quote your book back to you is like, what other success do you want?
Right.
That's who it's for. It's for the kids. So yeah, no Pulitzer Prizes for me. Thank you.
So why did you choose to write a picture book? Is there a unique quality in the genre that you enjoy?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I have a theater background. I was a theater education major. And what's unique about picture books is they're both visual and auditory. They're not for kids to read per se. They're for adults to read to kids. And so that first kind of genre that gets kids excited about books, but the kids themselves aren't actually doing the reading. They do that with easy readers. So because adults are reading to kids aloud, my kind of philosophy of picture books is it has to work as a spoken word, almost like a performance. So how it plays in the mouth, how it lands, how it sounds when you read it out loud is so critical. And you have a little audience, so it's like a little mini play that you get to share with kids. That's kind of how I approach it. And the visuals, like Tom Knight. I want to talk about Tom Knight for a little bit. This is a good segue. But I had really not put a ton of art notes in, and it was all Tom who came up with the idea to have a host of kids go through this journey to follow the rules and try not to get eaten by Dennis. So the visual aspect and the artwork adds so much to the story. If you want a fun activity with this book at home, try to find all the bees. Tom Knight put like little Easter eggs, so every page spread has a little bee. There's your one hint. There's the bumblebee in this spread. Can you find the rest of the bees? So, I love picture books. They're so fun.
Yes.
Those bedtime, storytime moments between parent and child, they're really special moments.
Yes.
So, I love being part of them.
Yes. Do you have any plans to get more into children's books, or are you thinking middle grade, any adult novels?
I'm probably going to make the Book of Rules my last book. I officially quit right now here on this YouTube Live. I'm done. Just kidding. I hope to publish as many as I can. I do have ideas for middle grade fiction and young adult, but none that have produced, like it's that thing where I said, I got to get that first draft done. It's like I have a few projects that started and then I just like let it sit, and now it's really hard to get back in and find that voice and that rhythm. So I'd love to do kind of a little bit of everything if I can, but see.
That'd be great.
We're wrapping it up. He's getting us that cue.
All right. So thank you so much for coming and talking with us today. Do you have any final words you'd like to share with us? Any plans or?
Yes, I think that you should buy this book. If I don't say that, that would be really, really, really bad, right? So, what a great Christmas gift for anybody with kiddos that need a fun story time, or a teacher in your life that has to corral all kinds of energy and have some kind of rules, or a librarian, or really anyone that you feel like in your life needs to be reminded to follow the rules, lest they be eaten by Dennis. I really hope that y'all had fun today and trying to follow the rules and not be eaten, and I hope no one got eaten. And if you did get eaten, I am legally not liable. So let's just make that clear. Get your sillies out or you're going to get eaten. Go buy the Book of Rules right now. Give me a follow on Twitter. I'd love to say hi to you online. And thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.